Here with Northwestern State baseball head coach Bobby Barbier, the Demons in the middle of a 9-game road trip, and it's off to a really good start. 3-1 this past week against Louisiana Tech and Little Rock, winning the third straight series to open the year. And Coach, you mentioned last week about this team you really see it grow up, and I think doing what it did really from Wednesday through Saturday and even into Sunday when you saw a lot of positives, it shows just how far this team has come in a short period of time.
No doubt about it. You know, we probably played our worst game, no doubt our worst game on the road, the first game on the road. And, you know, we challenged them to not let the circumstances of where you are dictate how the decisions we make and how we're going to prepare and how we're going to play the game. And I think they really responded to that. I think that they just did a really good job playing clean baseball. You know, I mean, I don't have the stats in front of me, but I think we made one error on the weekend. You know, we played really, really good defense, turned a bunch of double plays. Guys came out of the bullpen, filled up the strike zone, and had competitive at-bats throughout the game. It's hard for a young hitter, especially, to understand that in a 2-run game with 2 outs in the 4th with nobody on base, that at-bat really matters. And to compete in that at-bat and to make that's just as important as any other at-bat you're going to have that day. And it's hard for those guys to grasp that. And I thought we made a step forward in grasping that this weekend.
I think if anyone wants to look at one of those, I think David Fry's 11-pitch at bat, even though he ended up striking out against Cole Townsend on Sunday, that is a perfect example of what you mean. It was a 5-0 game. David battles, takes him to 11 pitches, eventually strikes out, but it sets the tone for 2 really good at-bats for him following.
That's right, and it drives that pitch count up. You know, I mean, on Sundays your bullpen's normally thin, especially when you play 13 innings on Saturday. And their guy came out and pitched really good, but sometimes that guy bounces back from the Friday start, and he's not very good. He doesn't throw strikes, and he came out and he did a great job, and you got to tip your hat to him. But just understanding how the game works throughout a weekend too. When you play those long games, you got to get that starter out the game on Sunday, and at bats like Dave's at bats, that does really well in the long run.
We've seen what he can do. We've seen what Quan Atkins can do, and I think we've just kind of brushed up on it, but I think it's worth mentioning again, just the job he's done. And what do you think that break did for him going to play football? Because he mentioned to me, he goes, I've never been just a baseball player. You talked about building the athlete. What did that do for Quan mentally, you think?
You know, I think that's exactly what it was. It was a break. You know, I think we talked about one time how, you know, we want to have kids play all year long, and sometimes they need that, you know, and he went and had a lot of success in football. You know, he hadn't played football in 4 years, and he was, you know, I go out and watch ball games, see him running routes, you know. So just shows you the athlete he is, and just for him to stick to it, and him to come back and buy in, him to get in the cage even when he had football, you know, on his own. So shows a lot about him, you know, a lot about the kid, a lot about, you know, maybe not having it going your way for a while, and to stick with it, and he's being rewarded for it. I think all of our seniors, I mean, our seniors have been tremendous. You know, I mean, Kelsey Richard, I mean, you know, he had a really good weekend, threw out some big-time runners on the bases this weekend, catching every game. Danny Halad, you know, being a stopper there at the end of the game for us when we need to bring him in. So I think we got 4, and all 4 have led the way for these new guys and these young guys, and led by example, and have had success, and I'm very proud of those guys for that.
And that's going to be very important heading into this week, because not only do you have a big test Tuesday and Wednesday against an SEC team in Texas A&M, you're going to need all 4 of those guys starting, you know, well, starting obviously with opening day, but it'll be a different kind of opening day down at Nicholls when you open conference play, and those 4 are going to be the guys you count on to lead the way and to show these guys what to do.
No doubt, and it'll be a tremendous test at A&M. They got a great team. You know, we did some research. Obviously, we know Rob well, so we know their team. But on the way home last night, and they pitch it really well up and down the lineup. They can run a bunch of left-handed hitters at you. So it'll be a good test. But again, it's about our guys. You know, it's about our guys building on what they learned. What we learned about ourselves and how we competed over the weekend. And the jersey color changes, it doesn't matter. I guess color don't really change this week, but when the team changes, it really doesn't matter. You know, when when conference starts, it really doesn't matter. It's just about competing. You know, it's about really, really competing against and enjoying competition. I told them a story Sunday before the game about a Lion that he'll leave an animal that he killed to go after another one. You know, even though he has the food right there, because he enjoys the hunt and he enjoys competing. And I think that's something that guys, they takes them a little while to learn, but I think this team is starting to learn that.
When you do go to places like A&M, I know a lot of people say, okay, you're going here and this is really going to pay off when we make a regional or when we're looking at the conference tournament. What do you think these guys get out of playing at a place like A&M?
What we talked about before, when you play good teams, they expose your flaws, right? So the ball moves a little faster. You know, the ball across the infield, off the bat, off the mound. I mean, it's really all it is the ball moving a little faster. But they expose your flaws. If you make mistakes, they normally capitalize on them. I just thought we did a good job this weekend. You know, when the other team made mistakes, we capitalized on it. You know, when they didn't get the bunt down, we got double play and we turned it. You know, we didn't just get one out. We got both of them. So I think with A&M going to play those guys, it's getting them in a new environment. It's letting them enjoy that environment. You know, enjoy that environment and just go out and competing and playing your tail off. And whenever, you know, wherever the chips fall, they fall.
I'm sure it means maybe a little bit more for the guys who grew up in the Houston area. That's been very, very good to you for recruiting. And real, you know, I think David's brother went to A&M, so I think Kyle Swanson's dad is an A&M grad. So there's some ties there that I think will make it special for those guys.
No doubt about it. It's good for our guys to go and their parents come see them, you know, and not have that long trip. I mean, that's a good recruiting point for us. Is that, you know, when we get those guys from Texas, that when we go play a lot of teams down there where it's an hour ride or 30-minute ride for their parents. So, yeah, the Texas guys they enjoy these couple days.
When you look ahead, and I know that's the one thing you don't want to do. You're an in the moment. Let's worry about Tuesday, and we'll worry about Wednesday on Wednesday kind of guy, but. Kind of looking outwardly toward Nicholls. They're not off to the start that I think Coach Thibodeau wants. I know you know Seth very well. We'll kind of technically end the reunion tour against A&M, but you'll face another guy you know very well in Seth Thibodeau, and he always seems to put a very competitive team, very fundamentally sound team on the field.
Yeah, and they are a good team. It hadn't gone their way early. And I think you can see how close winning and losing is, right, in our games. I mean, you can see how close it is. And we've won the close ones. I mean, that's really what has happened. And there's reasons that happens. It happens because of good relief pitching. That happens because, you know, a little better athlete, you know, that makes a few more plays. I mean, Quan making plays in the outfield that, you know, it seems fairly insignificant in the third inning, but when you go to 13 innings, it's pretty significant. So winning and losing is very small. I know they're going to run a good team. I know they're going to run out 3 pitchers that can pitch on the weekend. They're going to run out guys that can run. And if you don't handle the ball, they're going to put pressure on you. Seth's a good friend of mine. He always has his team ready to play. They played a fairly tough schedule early, so I mean, I put no stake into their record. I promise you that. It's going to be a tough series for us.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.